Testarudos y gruñones el corazón enternecerán. Eran buenos jugadores y molaban mucho más. Ellos son los juegos de la tercera edad.
Hola a todos, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estáis? Deshabilito la previsualización. Y ala. Intuyo que este juego es un viejo de cojones, porque las opciones gráficas... ya tal. Me he peleado un rato. Si en algún momento se va la imagen, porque los juegos antiguos que tienen opciones gráficas un poco cuestionables, a veces el Ops coge y dice, pues adiós. Si se va la imagen en algún momento, me avisáis y ala. Porque me fío yo de estas cosas. Porque en Portal me pasó lo mismo. En Portal ya me pasó. En Portal ya me pasó que de golpe hacía ¡pum! Y se iba la imagen. Ya toma por culo todo. ¿Normal o Ultra Deluxe? No, esto es normal. El Ultra Deluxe no lo tengo. Yo tengo el normal. Bueno, lo tiene Neku. Neku tiene el normal. Tenemos el normal. Ya está. No podemos... el otro no lo tenemos. Que vamos a jugar a este, que es el que tenemos. Lo que tenga el otro, como sea, yo qué sé. Pero vamos a jugar a este. No sé nada. Solo sé que es famoso, que todo el mundo lo recomienda, que todo el mundo le gusta y que todo el mundo dice que es muy bueno. Y que es corto. Ya está. Eso es todo lo que sé. Datos nuevos. Estaba revisando por si acaso. Me ha llegado la mosquitera. Solo lo he puesto aquí. Me lo he puesto solamente aquí en el comedor. No le podía poner por fuera, así que lo he tenido que poner por dentro. Lo que significa que igual luego para cerrar la ventana tengo que hacer yo... ya veremos. Cuando quiera cerrar la ventana ya veremos. Ya veremos cómo me lo monto. He puesto mosquiteras de velcro. Es un poco... es un poco inestable, pero es la mejor manera de poner en una ventana tan grande como esta. Y por fuera no le iba a poner, pues no voy a hacer yo aquí alpinismo. ¿Cuánto te falta? No sé, no me acuerdo. ¿Cuánto es el siguiente tier? ¿Te lo pone, no? Bueno, ¿le vas a dar a sub o algo? Desde aquí no puedo. Tienes la insignia de 6 meses, pues y llevas 8 meses. Pues creo que la siguiente es la de 12. Debería de hacerle un rework a los emblemas, la verdad. Porque desde que creé los emblemas, han habido no sé cuántas actualizaciones y creo que hay unos cuantos tiers nuevos por el camino. En fin, este streaming va a ser entero sin aire acondicionado. Voy a aguantarme todo lo que pueda. Necesito ver si de verdad esto va mejorando o no. Bueno, eso hay que me iré poniendo. Bueno, aquí se pone body milk, que me imagino que es lo mismo. Body milk hidrocente con aceites naturales aloe vera. Marca Crowe. No sé quién es Crowe y pero no había literalmente ninguna otra. Así que... yo qué sé. Es más denso y se absorbe más rápido. Entonces cada cierto tiempo me tengo que estar echando. Pero debería de mejorar todo. al no usar el aire acondicionado. De hecho, esto... espérate, que cada vez que hago de esto afuera se va el volumen. Dicho esto... vamos a comenzar. Avísame si se deja de ver algún momento. Yo creo que no, porque tengo un chivato del capturador que me sale un borde amarillo. Solo me sale borde amarillo con los juegos viejos, además. The end is never, the end is never, the end is loading. Loading never. O is never the end. O never the end is loading. No sé, es... Click to
This
skip.
is the story of a man named Stanley.
¿No hay subtítulos?
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427.
Tengo que poner subtítulos desde fuera.
427's job was simple.
Además se puede aquí. ¿Dónde está el audio? Activado. Descriptivos. Se está rompiendo esto. ¿Qué coño son los subtítulos descriptivos? Calidad sonora. Configuración. ¿Cómo que bocinas? ¿Cómo que 5.1 bocinas? Madre mía. Voy a poner auriculares. Todo el mundo. ¿A que todos usáis auriculares? Pues ya está. A toda por culo. Madre mía, las bocinas. Menos mal que pone atrás y no pone cerca. Pasos, etcétera. Pues no, normal. Queremos saber lo que dice la gente, no. Atrás, volver a comenzar la partida. ¿Y el vídeo?
¡Escopeta!
Se ha debido de liar. A ver, regresar al menú. Comenzar la partida. Ahora, a ver si
This
sale.
is the story of a man
Vale,
named
ahora.
Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427.
¿Qué tiene números?
Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him
no.
through a monitor.
Pero ¿por qué va tan? ¿Qué hace eso? ¿Usa la otra mano?
How long to push them?
¿En manco o qué?
And in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year.
Yo, sí soy.
Others might have considered it
Sí soy, y me pagan un huevo.
Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And
Sí soy.
Stanley was happy.
Y la gente habla horrible de mi empresa, de la empresa para la que
And then
trabajo.
one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever
Pero yo estoy en
change
el único puesto de trabajo
Something
decente
he
de
would
esa
never
empresa.
quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow.
¿Y eso lo han
No
encargado?
one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened.
También me pasa, cuando envío emails y no me contestan. Y yo,
Something
bueno,
was
¿qué?
very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Eso es comando, simplemente. Eso no es nada. Eso es una consola de comandos a secas. Para que fuera MS2, tendría que salir C, 2 puntos, antibarra, barra baja, mayor que. Lo voy a escribir. Tendría que salir eso. Si pone eso, es MS2. Claro que me acuerdo. Lo he usado muchísimos años. Ya estamos jugando entonces, vale. No puedo rular trabajo porque no tienen ofertas. Es lo que digo siempre. En cuanto vuelva a haber ofertas de eso, yo empiezo a avisar. Ahora, no sé si a ti te haría gracia. Vale, más que nada porque mi cliente es Transperfect. Ahora, yo no hago nada de... Las IAs para las que trabajo no tienen nada que ver con cosas malas. Las mías son búsquedas, mapas, motores de búsqueda, motores de mapas y poco más. Bueno, ¿puedo investigar con cualquier RPG o qué? ¿Cómo va esto? De botones, no va... Es que lo máximo que puede entrar en conflicto porque... las famosas ofertas que se viralizan a mí también me llegan por correo interno. Obviamente no las acepto y paso de ellas. Como mínimo tendría que poner 3 ceros al lado para que acepte yo eso. Depende de qué gente, como sepa esa empresa igual te echan para atrás.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to
¿Puedo
go to the
robar
meeting
algo?
room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
¿Ah? Hago ruidos, pero no sé qué significa. O si estuviese tecleando o algo. A ver, que yo me estoy yendo muy rápido. ¿Cómo se abre la puerta? ¿Cómo se abre la puerta? ¿Cómo le digo al jefe que me quedo encerrado por fuera? Jefe. Jefe, que no puedo entrar, que no puedo trabajar, jefe. Vale. De este tipo de oficinas tienen que ser una mierda, horrible. Lo bueno es que yo soy de alto nivel. O bueno, o sea, esta gente es de bajo nivel, porque tienen que estar aquí compartiendo mierda. Yo tengo mi propio despacho. Llámalo oficina, pero esto es un despacho. A ver, sí que es verdad que tiene... Bueno, no, la mía no tiene ventanas. Es que la mía tiene privacidad máxima. Estoy de puta madre ahí dentro. Hay que correr, hay... Ah, mira, hay agacharse. Ah, bueno, no, esto no es agacharse. Esto es Solid Snake.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference. Nor did it advance the story in any way.
Vale, ¿a ti qué te pasa? A ver si encuentro una caja de cartón. Mira. Métete dentro. Están llenas de archivos o algo.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
No hay zoom tampoco. Ah, toma por culo, PC. O sea que se puede hacer cosas. A ver, ¿puedo volver? No, no puedo hacer. Fotocopiadora y tirada. Aquí que alguien se ha ido. Bueno, le acaban de despedir porque está hecho mierda. No deja nada. ¿Y si cierro por aquí? Ah, esto no se cierra, es de adamantium. Ah, no se cierra detrás de mí la puerta. Este pasillo de mierda, ¿qué acontece? ¿Qué es esto? Como ve, lo veo con un arquitecto aquí. Cerrado. ¿Qué tiene ahí? A ver. Qué mal se ve, por Dios. Por hacer PowerPoint. Ah, no, vale. Son varias ventanas de Windows 3.1. Ah, toma por culo. Sobresale algo, pero no puedo cogerlo. ¿Vengo? ¿De dónde vengo? ¿De aquí? Sí, de la mierda esta. Vale, puedo ir para allá. No había visto ahí otro sitio por lo que entra. Ah, pues no, claro que sí. ¡Hala! ¡Oh! ¿Le cerro yo? Oh. Por fin algo con lo que interactuar. ¡Ole! Ah, ¿para qué? Me rompo. Dejo cerrar. Porque hay una sala de interrogatorios. Tampoco podemos acceder.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
No. Joder. Left, ¿no? Ah, no me deja cerrar la puerta. Tampoco. Vale, left es esto, ¿no?
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Pues podría ser. A ver si han dejado esto encendido. No puedo apagarlo, quiero... ¿Pero qué pasillos son estos? ¿Quién es el arquitecto de estos? ¿Qué laberíntico? Igual se han perdido todos.
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Esta máquina que no va. Vale. ¿Queréis que os diga el por qué es una muy mala idea hacer esto?
Yes, really,
¿Sí?
really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Vale, muy bien. ¿Vos cuánto tiempo
At
aguantaríais?
this point, Stanley's
Me
obsession with
dejes
this room
hablar.
bordered on creepy and reflected poorly
Com-
on his overall
completa.
personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left.
de la oficina? Aquí.
Stanley sat around
Descansando. ¿Cuánto rato aguantaríais?
But when a long time had passed and there was no more,
Ya a los 10 minutos ya me he
decided
ido.
that the game was trying to send him a message.
Joder, qué pesado. Estoy explicando unas cosas de por qué es muy mala idea poner un sofá delante del otro y por algo se ponen en fila. Cariño. En fila o se ponen así, como este de aquí, que se pone en diagonal. Así, si quieres ver a la otra persona, tienes que girarte. Si no, pues puedes hacer así y no mirar a nadie. Y ya está. Pero aquí es muy invasivo. Lo que no entiendo muy bien es... Esta zona de aquí no la termino de entender yo.
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
No hay puertas, hay pared. Esto de aquí. Uy, qué mal rollo, ahí no entro. ¿Esto qué es?
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Ya, bueno, perdona, pero Zoro sigue en One Piece, ¿no? Si a la gente le gusta, pues ya está. ¿Soy muy bajito yo o la gente trabaja de pie? ¿Qué es lo que están mirando? Pues esto es un almacén. Es un almacén. No sé qué está ahí diseñando. Peligro. No saltar. Te puedes morir. Si lo usas mal, 1000 eurodólares. Si saltas, 5000 eurodólares. Ya, y lo de poner una barandilla aquí, ¿lo habéis probado? Pregunto. Hay barandilla aquí, ¿no? ¿Y aquí qué? No, línea amarilla, cuidado, peligro. No hay ninguna grúa ni nada, ¿no? No, solo un montacarga. ¿Y pues toda esta parte qué? A ver. Pero que además, ¿qué han hecho ahí? A una zona de... ¿Por qué está marcado? ¿En la zona de suicidarse? Cuando van a despedir a alguien hacia así.
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Gracias. Para eso estamos. Y aquí estoy otra vez. No puedo...
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Que estaba... ¿Qué te parece esta? ¿Te gusta? ¿Cómo ahora cierro la puerta? No dice nada. Solo habla cuando no quiero que hable, ¿no? Desgraciado.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
A ver, ¿por dónde íbamos?
Wow. Yes. This room. What a beautiful room. What a gorgeous, gorgeous room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Ah, no, todavía no.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Ya estoy donde estaba. ¿Y cómo se usa el montacargas?
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone
¿Puedo saltar ahí?
about. Please. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side.
¡Una chance!
Give me a chance.
Una chance te voy a dar. Con una hacha te voy a dar una chance yo. Vale, ahora cómo salgo de aquí. Danger everywhere. Así, en general. Vale, esto debería de estar cuando te metes en la página web del DMO. ...2B1. Aquí es donde debe vivir la P2 esta.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
White door. White door. Jaja, el narrador no puede decirme a dónde ir. Porque soy daltónica.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door.
Red door, vale. Vale, por la puerta de red.
I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
Ah, vale. Vale. Ah, coño, pues si detrás tengo un azul. No sabe.
All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted?
De hecho, sí, de hecho estos son texturas de desarrollo.
Story I had written out specifically for you.
No hay nada más.
Do you
Ya
not
está.
think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me, you give me.
Hombre, una rama de habilidades
nothing
estaría
so
bien.
far.
Y vehículos, un Segway de eso, ¿cómo se
Let
llaman?
me take a stab in the
El
dark.
que tiene
at a new
Cloud, ¿cómo se
design.
llama?
You can give me some feedback. There we go.
Oh.
A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
¿Y si voy otra vez por la derecha? Oh. Office Space. Ceiling Light. O sea, ahí te ha faltado, ¿eh? Ah, y me ha quitado el pomo. Izquierda, derecha o naranja. Hombre, la puerta está mejor. Venga, va.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
Pues hombre, más opciones es mejor siempre. Toma.
Aha! You see, I knew I was onto something. Where do these flashes of inspiration come from? How did I know the game needed a third door? Well, it's instinct mostly, a calling in your gut. I really couldn't say where the idea came from, except that I felt it in my soul. You can't teach that, Stanley. Don't even try.
Vale.
Here, based on the data from your previous
La data.
playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's
Le he
take a
sacado
look.
fuera del parque. Joder. Vale, ¿y ahora qué? Ah. Nicho Nacho. ¿Qué es Nicho Nacho? ¿Espera, gente real? Did you know that Mussolini is offline? Vale, ¿puedo volver por aquí? Que no he visto la puerta.
Now,
Ah, que es al
would you
revés.
say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors?
Me gusta
Again,
mucho.
Honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you?
Vale.
Perfect. Let me boot it up.
Vale.
In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger.
¿Qué es
You
esto?
click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands.
No es un bebé de verdad, lo sabes, ¿no?
I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours.
Ah,
why don't you
como
give
One
it
Piece
4 hours
también.
of play to make sure it's effective. Be sure to keep notes on your experience. You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't
quería que
think
hiciera?
of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here?
¿Qué hace? ¿Qué le pasa a este señor?
Yes, this seems like it'll work.
¿Pero estoy
Let's
jugando
give it
yo
a
o está
shot.
jugando él? Ah, sale loading en general. Pero...
Well, Stanley, is this any better?
¡No!
Last, the one thing you've always desired.
No.
A game I had absolutely nothing to do with. But is it enough? Tell me that, Stanley.
No puedo saltar.
Will it ever be enough? Well, I'll say this.
No puedo hacer
I'm done
nada.
making things for
Se te ha
you.
olvidado configurar el
From now
salto.
on, I will only create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house.
Sí, porque a mí no me dejas, no puedo saltar. ¿Dónde está? Estoy escuchando el ruido.
This will go here. No, here. And then...
Tú, capullo, que no te veo. Ah, vale. Pero la tendría que construir yo, ¿no?
Does it need yes, of course. And just to finish it all off, yes.
Pero eso no es una casa, eso es una mierda.
Complete. I made this, Stanley. Look at it.
¿Qué estamos en
Gaze
Madrid?
upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own inadequacy. Ah, but you've only seen it from the outside. You've only gotten half the experience. Please, step inside and make yourself comfortable.
Venga, va.
Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only be better if... Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond.
No creo que ese sea el problema, ¿eh?
Yes, yes, yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
Pues venga, va. Nunca había jugado a Minecraft guiado, la verdad. Tengo que tener... Ah, mira, está la música y todo. Es que no hay botones de salto. Pues venga. Al agua, a morir. Ah, no, no era agua.
Oh my, it looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you brought a light?
No, ¿me das? ¿Me das? ¿Me das? No parece que haga falta luz.
Oh, no. This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear.
Oh.
Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save this one.
No, que estaba bien.
Okay, new game.
Déjame seguir, que hay un... Y vamos bien, déjame jugar, a ver. No, quita.
Yes, I don't even know what this game is, but I love it.
No.
You, trapped in a glass box with no way out, listening to me talk. Oh, it's inspired. I couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Okay, now I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is.
Pero sabes que no tengo que salir por... Moderno. A ver, no sé. Esta es la versión normal, ¿eh? No es la de luce ni nada.
Oh, it's a puzzle. Critical thinking.
Tu forte. Es mi forte.
Forte.
Vale.
Genius.
Pero ya está. ¿No? Se revienta. A ver.
No, actually, you know what? I think that's plenty. I really don't care much to see you stumble through any more of these games.
Oh. ¿Ah? Work in progress. Creo que no hay nada aquí. No veo. No veo nada. Me he vuelto a caer. Porque ahora la oficina parece un motel de matar gente. Porque hay una pared falsa. ¿No hay linterna? Solo puedo caminar y agacharme. ¡Luz! ¡Hay luz al final del túnel! No puedes saltar. No, en serio. Ya. Sí, ya lo he notado. Gracias por el logro, supongo. Está puesto lo de que veáis las capas, ¿no? ¿Habéis visto el logro? You can jump, no. 69% de la gente. Nice. Reanuda, reanuda. ¿Esto qué se supone que es? Pues llega la luz y no va nada, ¿eh? ¿Cómo se llama el narrador? ¿Qué nombre? Juan Carlos. ¿Para qué me pones luz si no hay nada? ¿Qué?
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice. And if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me.
Madre mía, la
Someone
traducción.
who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the
Apenas se nota el
confusion.
Google.
That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I
Estás
can wait.
amenazando. Y también, si está a las 9. Bueno, hemos vuelto. ¿Qué hacemos
All
ahora?
of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Oh. Empuje.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and
Lo sé.
Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first.
Es que me
just
desvío un
to admire
poquito.
it.
No he terminado la ruta esta.
The lounge was sublime, a work of art. What but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
¿Puedo cerrarla? No, si paso me la va a cerrar.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't
Ahora
5 years
no
ago.
no debo saltar. ¿Hay algo que acolche aquí mi caída? No,
Look,
¿verdad?
Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize
a ver qué
that
por ahí
investing
arriba.
your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time.
Lo sé.
There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your
¿Qué?
chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life.
No, se fue, me abandonó, le den por culo. Todo almacenes, pero en esta empresa, ¿qué hacemos? Oh, genial, entré en un bar de ambiente. ¡Ay, tu puta madre!
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. Oh, no, you can't.
Oh,
Did you just unplug the phone?
eso
That
parece.
was supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly? I didn't even know that was possible. Let me
Yo tampoco.
double-check.
Que yo tampoco. ¿Sabes que ese no es el cable del teléfono? Cable de corriente, pero el teléfono no va por la corriente.
Finds his wife and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand.
Menos mal que está en alto,
How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person.
Gracias.
I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't
No
have
sé, la
that kind of
situación es
risk on
grave.
my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world.
Pues no,
Please
hombre.
observe this helpful
No me
instructional
gustan
video.
los webinars. No. Jo.
Choice. It's the
Ah!
best part of being a real person. But if used incorrectly, can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Stephen has a choice. He could spend years helping improve the quality of life for citizens of impoverished third world nations. Or he could
Porque es negro.
systematically set fire to every orphan living in a 30-kilometer radius of his house.
No.
Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then
¿Habéis visto el
provide an
vídeo del
excuse
niño
why you cannot continue talking.
jugando con
Turn
el
to a
tren?
partner and
Haciendo
practice
el...
saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack."
Bueno, al menos ha durado poco.
Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis
Ahora sí hay
is the
subtítulos.
best part to a
En inglés,
healthy
por cierto.
decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Ah, welcome back. You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a
Bueno.
result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you
chance.
made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
Bueno, tampoco hay otra opción. ¿De verdad me va a hacer dar toda la puta vuelta? ¿Sí? ¿Y si me caigo o qué?
Now that we know your choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the
Hijo de
platform
puta.
and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story.
¿Y cómo salgo con las vallas, cariño?
No sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
A que encuentro yo cómo tirarme, gilipollas. Soy speedrunner, ¿eh? Mira, voy a hacer el tamaño skip. Pero hoy no, que no me apetece. Vale, perdón. No me tumbaré. ¿Para dónde voy? Al puto principio del juego.
Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world.
Ay. Sí, déjame beber agua. Hostia, una mano es complicado, ¿eh? Voy a beber normal. Ay, iba a coger el mando. Vale, ya está. Ah, seguí. Está cerrando todas las puertas, no me deja hacer nada ya. ¿Me dejará volver al principio del todo o qué?
Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine.
Vale.
All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Vale, left.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
Pasado. Has dicho de izquierda, he ido a la izquierda. Puta madre. Vale. ¿Y ahora? Joder, nada. Al final se sale con la suya. ¿Estás contento ya? Ya hemos llegado, venga.
Oh, it's ruined. I can't believe after everything we talked about that my story, you've destroyed my work. Why? For what?
Legal group.
What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about
Office
seeing
party.
the game undone, left here like so much garbage? It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do?
Get Chris out of the room
If there were
closet.
a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that?
Firepaper guy.
I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever. Reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way.
A ver, que puedo
Is it
subirme.
better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to.
No, no hace falta. Déjame pasar por aquí. Déjame pasar. Eres un rage quitter de estos. El juego sigue igual, cariño.
Oh, I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish. With you. You. Who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to
No,
see.
yo quería mirar, quería explorar esas cosas.
To be like Stanley. He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child.
Mira quién habla.
Oh.
Porque se enfada porque no le hacen casito.
Story. If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard.
Ya, y yo hice mods y la gente se saca a Mastemon y...
That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Left.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry.
Ha tirado el cable. Ha tirado el cable muy fuerte, ¿no?
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
No puedo porque no veo nada. O que sea que tenga que ocurrir, que ocurra ya. La partida se encuentra en Pau. Otro juego roto por los Koyuki. Ay. Decían que no podría romper este juego. ¿Y ahora qué? Pues nada, volver a comenzar.
Just a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself, that's all I need. If I can make it through this door, I can make it through them all.
Pues ha cambiado el texto.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Venga, voy ya por la izquierda, le hago caso.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Ya me apetece un café.
Standing now in this incredible room, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Ya hemos llegado.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door,
Hostia, un botón.
and got back on track.
¿Qué hace el botón? ¡Uli! A la base subterránea. ¿Qué me has dicho que hay?
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here, it's, left.
Pues sí.
Oh, no. No, it's to the right. My mistake.
A que me cago en tu puta madre.
No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking?
¿Se está vengando de mí o qué?
Clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
Claro, si no tengo nada mejor que hacer. ¿Tengo pan? ¿Quieres como pan? He comprado bollos, podría ir a por bollos. He comprado donuts, ensaimadas y gozo de chocolate. Vale, pues venga. ¿Han despedido al 104? ¿Yo cuál soy?
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to
¿Cuánto de spoiler es?
I'm kidding. It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, hmm? Okay, from the top.
Pirata.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Venga, va, voy a ir por la izquierda. Vamos a ver la puta historia.
When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the
Yo no he
story
tocado nada.
somewhere, or...
Si no me dejas.
Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's
Vale.
find
Ahí hay
the
un
story.
castillo. Ahí también, porque lo mismo. Esto es lo de siempre. Me voy a la habitación del castillo. Ah, no lo era. Bueno. Hostia, pues bueno, ¿cuántas opciones? Te voy a poner un 6 luego, ¿eh? En las votaciones. Muchísimas opciones ahora mismo.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again?
No hace falta, déjame
Well, I
explorar.
find it unlikely that we'll ever progress
He
by
jugado al
starting over and
house.wat,
over again,
déjame.
But it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
No, que iba a entrar por la parte de la izquierda. Ay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Venga, a ver.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from.
¿Ah, sí?
Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything? Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes.
¿Por qué es circular? ¿Cómo? Ah, pues al final sí que va a ser el house.wat.
No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our
¿Eso qué
steps.
coño, eh? Techo ah, vale. Una lámpara sin encender. No he hecho nada. Uy.
Now this... Well, I'll be honest. I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall.
¿Se sale un caco demonio?
In an office building.
Puede.
Is that correct? Do you
Tírame este
remember,
tabique,
Stanley?
anda.
Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win!
Ole!
Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really
You're
paid off.
winner.
Okay, I
Good
believe you.
job. Oh, no, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations.
Bravo, you won.
Okay. I'm getting
Tengo que conseguir la
weirded out
animación
by
del Bravo
whatever
You
this
Won y
place
ponerla
is.
por
I
puntos.
don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
Yo hace 20 reinicios que quería ir por la izquierda.
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Vamos por culo, PC. Pero hacia aquí no irá. Vale, pero hacia aquí no era, ¿eh? ¡Ey! Está jugando el solitario del Windows 3.1. ¿No sabéis? Yo he jugado esta versión fácilmente 1000 partidas. Muy fácilmente, sin exagerar. Sin exagerar nada.
You see, the line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay. Now, if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office, in fact, the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Oh, música, a ver. ¿Qué está pasando? ¿Qué música es? No sé, porque no la conozco. ¿Es algo en concreto? Oh. Hay que hacer parkour. Stanley, que no puedo saltar. Esto me lo salto, ¿eh? Le está yendo a la cabeza. ¿Cómo? ¿Cómo? No entiendo el universo espacio-temporal de este juego, ¿eh?
Cut the music, go back and look at that fern. Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
¿No? ¿Ah? O vamos a mirar el helecho. Muy bonito el helecho. Voy a por un bollo y un zumo. Os dejo mirando el helecho. He vuelto. ¿Habéis disfrutado del helecho? Me he traído zumo con sin gordura. 0% de gordura y donas cacao irresistibles de los hermanos Juan. Que no sé quiénes son los hermanos Juan, pero son del 52. O sea que llevan 60 años aquí haciendo donas cacao irresistibles. Si consiguiera sacarle recinto al zumo... Ahora. Oh, qué bueno está. Bueno, ¿ya habéis disfrutado del helecho? ¿Qué tal, Drash? ¿Cómo estás? ¿Por dónde era? Sé que la línea. Oh. Oh. ¿Y el caos espacio-temporal que había aquí? ¿Ya no está? Vaya por Dios. Pues voy a ir por aquí. Que no hay línea. ¿Ha dicho algo más con el helecho? ¿Ha dicho el por qué era importante? Bueno, a ver.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
Aquí hay una entrevía. ¿Qué hago? Pues aquí está la historia.
No, not again, Line. How could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything
Ya está,
we've
este era el
been
spoiler,
through-
porque ya llega antes de tiempo. Ahora, ya está.
This anymore, to hell with it. Restart.
No reinicie. Cuéntame. ¿Otra vez la línea? Pues vale.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Yo solo quiero trabajar. Quiero ganar dinero. ¿A mí estas horas extras me las pagan o...?
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
Oh, no. ¿Qué? ¿Qué? ¿Ahora qué? Gracioso. ¡Oh, Dios mío, qué divertido! Es el loop play del DMO. Conseguí un desvío porque un moderador me atracó.
Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
Pero que la línea la dibuja un mono. Ya no puedo seguir la línea.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere.
Nada.
Which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all
Voy a acabar los
accounts,
donuts.
the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
Vale.
Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending.
¿Cómo?
You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game what, eight times?
Así funcionan los finales de este juego.
That's really how all this goes?
Esto es un guión muy largo, ¿no?
Determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle?
¡Ole!
Whatever it
¿Y ahora
is
qué?
that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen?
Llevo 17 minutos. Ah, llevo una hora.
So-
Ah, pues sí.
Okay.
Ok.
I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story. Wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure.
Esto
if
es
the destination
una
or the
historia.
journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime,
Bueno. Y ahora te vas a hacer...
all of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Por favor.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the
Después
door
de
on
una
his
hora,
left.
ha llegado el momento de ir para la derecha. Venga, a ver qué hay. Venga. Es que el otro no lo he terminado, ¿eh? Esta es la meeting room.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Diría que esto es una crítica a algo, pero no, así es como funcionan las empresas. Funciona exactamente así. Monetize free to play. Unity, ¿qué te parece esa? Ah, pero yo antes he estado aquí ya. Más o menos.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
¿Y por qué me deja entrar? ¿Aquí no había alguien encerrado?
There was nothing here. No
Ah.
choice to make, no path to follow.
Soy yo.
Just an empty broom closet.
Ah,
No
gracias.
reason to still be here.
Stanley...
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if
Nada,
there was
gente, hoy no se
something
sale del armario.
he'd be justified
Hoy heteros
in some
todos.
way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
Estoy comiendo donas de los hermanos Juan.
Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why?
¿Por qué no dejas
Please
salir?
offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
No sé, es que... Déjame salir y yo salgo. Ah, ahora.
You do realize there's no
Maldita
choice or
sociedad que no me deja
anything
salir del
anymore.
armario.
If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it.
¿Y no está Kudo por aquí?
Maybe to you this is somehow its own branch.
¿Tú has jugado este juego ya, no, Neku? ¿Cómo
Maybe
saliste de
when
aquí?
you talk about this with your friend, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom
¿Cómo que
closet
che?
ending was my
Estaba regroso.
I hope your friends find this concerning. Stanley was fat and ugly and really stupid.
Oye,
He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is.
ahora sí que no salgo.
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
¡Hala, hala!
Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard. Well, in a situation like this,
Puede
the
ser.
responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. He or she has fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your
Ábreme la puerta y
species.
salgo.
Please remove their corpse from the area
Remueva.
and instruct another human to take their place at the computer, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in
Pues nada, como
with the
tienes
history of
experiencia,
narrative
Neku, vente.
tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful
Lo controlas tú
commentary
y
of
así
this
consigues
game
salir del
is
armario.
not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
A ver, espera que está llegando Neku. ¡Ole! Hola Soul, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estáis? El lobby me ha metido en el armario y no me deja salir.
Indicador ordinal femenino, 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 numerito attack.
Se lo ha sentado a un ataque. ¿Qué tal? ¿Qué estabais haciendo? Vale, voy a hacer lo que hizo Neku para esto. A ver. Dale, ahora.
Ah, second player. It's good to have you on board.
¡Ole!
Guarantee you can't do any worse than the person who came before you.
Gracias a Neku hemos salido del armario. Y vuelve a entrar. Ah, es verdad. Ahora vamos a hacer como hace en Discord. Hala.
You too? Unbelievable. I'm at the mercy of an entire species of inverts.
Damas y caballeros,
Perhaps there's a monkey
Neku
nearby you can
se ha vuelto a
help.
encerrar en el armario.
A fish? Fungus? Look, you can hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to pick up the story again.
Ala, a tomar por culo. En este canal no hay armarios. Ala, que conste en acta que hoy Neku ha salido del armario. ¿Y ahora qué?
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
No, el jefe no está arriba, está abajo, está echándose unas cañas. ¿Y este espacio es desperdiciado? Hostia, un coche.
But
¿Cómo ha
Stanley
entrado?
just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All
¿Por
of
qué te
my
da miedo este juego,
coworkers
Soul?
blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real.
Te lo puedo decir yo,
Last,
si quieres.
He came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming! He yelled. This is all a dream.
¡Esto es un sueño de artes marciales!
What a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Ah,
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical star.
pensaba que espacio literal.
It too appeared. It was
Ah, no, no,
so
sí, literal,
much
sí.
fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley.
No sé, lo
who
que
found it
no sé es por qué no te has
particularly
preguntado tú por
strange.
qué.
I'm dreaming about a voice
¿Por qué hay más de una?
describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself?
Narrador, estás
Stanley
bien.
is as awake right now as he's ever been.
Tiene
in his
sentido.
life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself.
Wake
I'm
me
through
up!
with this dream. I wish it to be over.
No funciona.
Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want
Tengo
is
pinta
my
de tener
life
esposa.
exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
¿Ya está? ¿Se te ha pasado la neura? ¿Te has tomado la medicación?
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss, I have an office, I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real, I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
No, no se le ha pasado. Gracias, Paula, por ser mi nuevo amor. Y una nueva paranoia de este señor.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Oh, soy Mariela ahora.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
¿Y por qué es un juego viejo? Si no habría sacado el móvil y habría empezado a hacer fotos. Aquí unos reels, me he encontrado un cadáver en el suelo. Uy. ¿Qué pasa? ¿Había un tornado ahora?
The meeting room. Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from then on, he would never be alone ever again.
Ya, y el Amazonas que habéis instalado aquí, ¿qué? ¿Qué pasa con el Amazonas?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Vale. Y aquí está la sala de reuniones. No hay nadie.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Exacto.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Oh no, no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
Esto, ahora que estáis todos aquí, esto es lo que tenéis que hacer en cuanto podáis, ¿vale? Cuando veáis que la situación ya os lo permite, cogéis, le dais a la E o hacéis clic izquierdo, abrís y salís del armario.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Venga. Por fin veremos de qué va el juego. ¡Hola! ¡Hala, hala, hala! ¡Hala! ¡Hala, jefe! Jefe, ¿cuánto dinero está lavando usted? Podéis salir del armario también siendo heteros, ¿por qué no? ¿Y tu secretario dónde está? Business time. Se han ido a la mierda como Unity.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845.
¿Cómo sabes eso?
Of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Cero.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Stanley simply began entering random codes into the keypad, knowing full well the sheer statistical unlikelihood that this would ever result in a correct combination. If he knew that the combo was 2845,
Pero eso es metagaming.
2845.
Nada, no, parece que nunca sabré el código. No lo encuentro. Bueno. Se ha intentado. No se puede. Venga.
Forgot, but it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself. And Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
¡Ole! A ver. 0, 4, 5, 1. Vaya. ¿Qué número ha dicho antes? ¿Qué código ha dicho? 2845. Vaya. Immersive Sim, ¿qué es eso? ¿De qué habláis? ¿Qué es ese meme? Vamos a saber el secreto. Voy a poder pararme delante. Voy a poder pararme y decir: yo soy de Stanley Parable.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Bueno, ahora quiero ir para arriba. ¿Ya, no?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
¿Puedo escapar? Vámonos.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
¿Sí? A ver.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Está muy lejos.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Ajá. Ah, voy a escapar.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as
What?
Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
¿Por qué pone 32? Ah, no, no pone 32. Esto, tío, pone 32, no. Yo soy el Stanley Parable.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
¿Y esto ahora?
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do
Ahora
you
es un
see
museo.
that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Stanley's Computer. Aquí está la oficina diseñada. Ahí, cuando giramos por aquí no hay nada, hay que ir aquí. Y entonces allá hay un de esto que ya no. ¿Y qué más dice esto? O sea, a partir de aquí se fue creando el juego. Ah, mira, mira, ahora de cerca, mira. Y tiene además el buscaminas de fondo. Y no se ve. Vale, pero este fondo que es más verde todavía que el del solitario es porque es el fondo del solitario Spider. Vas a decir, ¿qué cojones es un solitario Spider? Pues soy muy pequeño. Vale, tenemos el solitario normal. Eso de ahí es el buscaminas y justo detrás está el solitario Spider. Fuera. A cascarla a todos. Y además tiene... Oh, se ha vuelto a encender solo. Tiene dos disqueteras. Una normal y la otra del disco blando de ¿cómo se llamase? ¿3/4? No, 3/4 era el chiquito. El otro es gigantesco y elástico y de todo. Como veis no tiene cededera porque no existían los CDs. Y aparentemente tampoco tiene el ratón. Ni está conectado a la luz. Van por wifi. ¡Créditos! Pues parece que me pasa el juego. Esto ha sido de Stanley Parable. La oficina, sí. ¿Y el helecho? No se genera, ¿eh? Pero no sale la narradora. Office clock, mira. Ah, yo solo he visto la del medio, los otros dos, ¿no? Oh, takes. Tomas falsas. Mind Control Facility. El plot twist es que controla mentalmente a los empleados. De eso trata el mundo empresarial. Vamos arriba. Freedom Ending. Yo no tengo Freedom Ending. ¿Cómo se consigue? Ah. En The Games Alpha. Countdown Desk. El Freedom Ending en la beta. Ahí está la salida. No quiero ir a la salida. ¿Cuántas cosas que no hemos visto del juego, no? Begin the game, resume the game, skip menu. ¿Esto qué es? Sending model. ¿Qué es el sending? Cuando empieza a ir en bucle el juego. Aquí tenemos levers del sending. Pues no he hecho el sending entonces. Sending. ¡Oh, viva el sending! Oh. Trailers. Oh, no hay trailers, gente. Se han gastado. No, no pasa nada. Está preparando una nueva versión del tráiler de Parable este. Oh, a ver. Mete un run que no hay nada y... First choice, obey o disobey. Vale, o sea que habría llegado justo. O sea que si hubiese vuelto otra vez una sola vez más hacia la derecha, no habría significado nada. Interesante. The other entrance will be hidden. Vent. Había una vent. Oh. Y ahí se podía ir por un lado o por el otro. To confusion ending. Pues eso lo he tenido. El confusion ending. Justamente. Oh. Sí que es grande el museo, me he perdido ya 7 veces. More endings. HD Remix. Larger Words. Tu Green Light. Hostia, ¿eso existe todavía? ¿Os acordáis del Green Light? Ah, vale. Por aquí. ¿Pero qué pasa aquí? Luchando contra aliens. Which was not our intention. Es que el Greenlight era antes de poder pagarle 100 pavos a Steam y ya está. Es el juego. Cameron, de que sí. Me es el narrador. Oye, yo no quiero enterarme de cosas ilegales. Y luego tengo que testificar. La oficina de Stanley. En múltiples versiones, parece ser. Que yo solo he visto una. Bueno, pues ya hemos visto el museo. Ha estado bien.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
A partir de hoy, yo ya no soy el Stanley Parable.
Can you see? Can
No.
you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time
No me dio tiempo. Pues me murió. Vaya, ¿y ahora qué? Para tener este juego tantos logros, solo saca uno.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open
Cajarla.
doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Stanley felt lightheaded, butterflies in his stomach. Giddy but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Sí, eso hice.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Vale, ya hemos vuelto. ¿Estás contento?
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
¡Joder! Este soy yo en el servidor. Hola, gente, que no, que soy hetero, lo juro. ¿Quién apoya? Que no te metes ahí dentro otra vez. Que te quedes fuera.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Vale, hemos llegado. Oh. Ahora puedo ir por aquí. ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué? Abajo. Ah, no, pues arriba. Nos vamos a la azotea, gente. Creo que es la primera vez que escucho esta canción en el contexto adecuado. ¿Cuántos pisos tiene esto? Nota, más que notas son papeles. Ya está, ya he llegado. Ah, no, que no es lo mismo, creo yo para abajo. Arriba. Ah. La vista está un poco jodida. Del espejo no va, ¿eh? Yo sé que este motor tiene espejos. Bueno. ¿Con qué me he chocado? Ah. Ah, ¿estáis viendo con qué me estoy chocando? ¿Qué os parece? Puta madre, juego.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk.
Joder.
That kind of anxiety isn't healthy. so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Oye. ¿Qué es New Age? Ah, música de demos de PlayStation.
Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Oh, me iba a tirar. Pues nada, me voy para el lavado cerebral permanente. ¿Puedo usar botones? No.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind
¿Y si
Control
vuelvo a intentar
Facility.
escapar?
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this realized he simply Stanley would too much to live for. Death. Nope, still on board with death. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building. Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible?
Habrá una última decisión para que esté ahí a puntito y de media vuelta. Que se caguen todos mis muertos.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Pero están todos offline. ¿Qué quiere que te mantere? No va ninguno. Oh, ¿y esto? Iu. Toma, un 10. Toma, un 10. ¿Qué quiere que desmantele? Está todo offline. Y está disable. No están haciendo nada malo. Estaría malo si estuviese online, pero si está offline no están haciendo nada. Jaja. Jaja. No ocurre nada. Está todo roto. Debo elegir.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for. Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you?
Sí, estaban
After they
apagados.
kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go. Turn the controls off
Que me vaya, vale.
and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system.
Pues entonces está bien que me está largando, ¿no?
Without proper DNA
Oh, hay números.
identification, nuclear detonators are said to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say 2 minutes. Now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley?
Uno.
It's your time to shine. You
Dos.
are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it.
Tres.
Mere moments until the bomb
¿Dónde está el
goes
cuatro?
off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated?
Vaya.
All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone.
4.
Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich.
5.
I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better.
Pues
My
no
goodness,
fue como
only
pensaba.
34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much.
Quieren que pulse
You know
el
what?
3.
To hell with it. I'm
¿Tengo que
going to
pulsarlo
put
mucho
some
rato o qué?
extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button,
Correcto.
screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered
Usa el
buttons.
2.
No, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button. Or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing
¿Dónde estaba el
watching
código
the
ese?
cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully?
Si a lo
Have a
abajo.
choice. Make it count. Or
10,
don't. It's all the
9,
same to me, all a
8,
part of the joke.
7,
And believe me,
6,
I will be laughing at
6,
every second of your
5,
inevitable life
4,
from the moment we
3,
fade in until the
2,
moment I say,
1.
happily ever after.
Ay, vaya, no me dio tiempo. Vale, ¿dónde estoy?
All of his co-workers were gone.
Hemos
What could it
cambiado.
mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Welcome. ¡Ole! The White Ward ending.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Que ladre.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
No hay puertas nuevas para abrir.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find... Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive
He vuelto a entrar en
economy,
bucle.
why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy. And then
Pues esto era
something occurred
larguísimo.
to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense.
Oh no!
And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down?
No,
Why
dos de
did
cuatro.
doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too...
Espera. Habrá que hacerle caso o algo.
All of his co-workers were
No sé qué más variables pueden
What
haber.
could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Vale.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
No dice nada.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Que... A ver. Era él. 2845.
Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Quelle surprise.
Gilipollas. Y un montón de flags esto, ¿eh? El problema es que no sé a dónde conducen.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Y no sabe qué hacer con los botones tampoco.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Ah, no funciona. No he conseguido colarme en algún frame de esos de carga. Toma.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each
¿Yo cuál
bore
era?
the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone
¿Y eso que
else's
está ahí?
control?
¿Y el pirata qué?
Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls
Heart of the
labeled with
cards.
emotions. Happy
Mira,
or
aquí.
sad
Que
or
hay como cuatro, que
content.
hay que poner como cuatro
Walking,
números.
eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human.
Parece que es luego, pero es que no, tampoco
For
sé qué código hay que
he
poner.
would dismantle the controls once and for all.
No hay ninguna. No leo,
And
no
when
leo
at
eso.
last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it.
Ah, toma por culo. ¿Y ahora qué?
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had
Sí, he ganado porque
defeated the
suena-
machine, unshackled
Ya va a aparecer el
himself
villano
from
ahora.
someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not
Lo veo.
knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go,
Ven a casa.
what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the
Oh,
cool
me ha quitado el control.
breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
¡Ole! Me pasa el juego. Creía haberme pasado el juego. ¿Tú no me había pasado el juego?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Estará todo igual. Hasta allí.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
No sé si mirar los logros que me faltan, a ver qué son. Porque he recorrido todos los sitios que hay. Entonces no sé qué hacer. O sea, puedo ir dando tumbos, pero no sé si voy a acceder a algo nuevo o distinto. Es que, no sé. Creo que he ido por todos los caminos posibles.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first.
Pero hay que llegar hasta eso, porque eso fueron un montón de reinicios, ¿eh?
The lounge was grand, majestic, perhaps too much, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this... What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Pero si yo por la azul, luego o sea, voy a terminar por la roja igualmente, ¿no? O no pareció... No, no es nuevo esto.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
Ah, que me fui por aquí, ¿no?
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices.
¿Cómo ha sido lo primero que hice? Me había olvidado ya.
Trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just
Ay, no, otra vez no.
stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
Esta es la solución.
What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with... No, wait. Where are you going?
Perdón.
Right. Where were we?
Ah, me hace daño. Precioso. ¿Me puedo caer? No. Esto está sin pintar, ¿eh?
Oh, no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this.
Esa válvula es como muy concreta, ¿no?
Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me. Please, Stanley, think about what you're doing.
Estoy a punto de cantar. Voy a pedir que me despiertes. ¿Te parece bien? ¿Tengo que mirar hacia abajo o hacia arriba? ¿Cómo iba? Yo no me acuerdo ya. ¿Y si no salto? Esta puerta estaba antes... Ah, sí. Venga, he recapacitado, venga. Ya está. No te voy a dejar. Pero no me borres más del Facebook, ¿eh? ¿Ese dibujo estaba ahí antes? ¡Hola!
We can't be too safe. Promise me you won't go back there. Just stay here.
¿Qué quieres? ¿Que me quede aquí infinitamente? Te doy lo que tarde en comprobar el correo. Chubascos débiles y una mierda. La polla pa' tu boca, chubascos débiles hay aquí. Join the Foam Blasting Frenzy, the Foam Stars. Open Beta Party. Sí, eso estaba yo pensando. Likes y retweets. Nada importante. Ah, vale. Es una ropa simple. Bueno, ya está. Todo va en orden. Uy, ya no hay luces. Se han acabado. Me voy a Stanley. ¿No hay luces? Ah, está reiniciando el cosmos. Bueno.
No. What do we talk about? You're risking everything we achieved here.
Ya, pero como no avanza la
You
historia...
heard me before, didn't you? You will die. What about this isn't getting through to you?
Lo siento. Quiero reencarnarme en una película de Makoto Shinkai. Bueno, mejor no, porque esas películas son muy malas y no... Pero... que avance la historia. Ahora sí, Bridges.
You are going to stay here, aren't you?
No. Pues muchos brillos, muchas luces, pero no hacen nada. Adiós. Hala, ya está. Ya ni reacciona ni nada. ¿En qué nos reencarnamos? Voy a reencarnar en un oficinista. Que tiene mucho dinero. Pero nunca consiguió lo que realmente quería. Un dinosaurio.
Oh,
Es un primero, voy a
thank
romper.
God, you lived. You had me worried there for a moment. Now, can we please get back to the other? No, what are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this?
Mira. Ahora con... 360 y...
Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for me?
Venga, sí.
Yes, perhaps you can. Perhaps
Yeah.
you finally see what I'm talking about.
Ponme otro piso, a ver. Si desde un quinto... acabamos con esto.
My God, is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly?
¡Tú!
Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know
Se ha
anymore.
puesto triste de verdad, ¿eh?
I just wanted us to get along. But I get you actually want to stay alive? Or are you just teasing me?
Venga, va. Vamos a los Bridges. Mira, Bridges.
I wanted us to be happy here, Stanley. I really did. I wish I still thought that was possible.
Juan Carlos, no estás avanzando la trama. Juan Carlos, me has encerrado. Ponme una puerta. Ábreme la adoquín ese que tienes ahí, ¿eh? Esta de aquí, ábremela. Yo voy por ahí, ¿eh? Voy a otro lado. Venga. Mira, de espalda.
Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
Pues de espalda sí. A ver, ¿seguirá triste?
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go anywhere except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell.
La habitación del tiempo.
One thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes. But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go anywhere except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days.
Ahora toma, te calla.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Vale,
what
pues...
could it mean? Stanley decided to
go
to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Si había más bifurcaciones, no las recuerdo.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors,
si no hago nada.
He entered the door on his left.
Hala. Estamos en huelga. No voy a ninguna puerta. Hala. No sé qué más hace. Y estamos.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. And here it was, the lounge. What a room, Stanley thought to himself. What a room, what a room, what a room. This is what Stanley thought. What a room. What a room, what a room. What a room.
¡Ole, qué habitación! Gracias a Hamson por ser mi nuevo amor. Ok.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so up but eager to get back to business.
Voy a no tirarme y no sé.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Ahora te dejo ir para allá, a ver si me dejé algo, no sé.
We've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact
Desde que me
is that
salto
the
más alto,
story
me
has
hago más
been
daño,
about
¿eh?
nothing
Si
but
saltase.
you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. What?
No.
Really?
Oh, no.
I was in the middle of something.
Oh, me deslizo, no puedo caer en la barandilla.
Are you that convinced that I want something bad?
No me deja tirarme la barandilla.
I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
Te doy chances.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley
Ah,
walked
me dejé un
through
teléfono,
the
es verdad.
door. Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that
¿Y dónde
isn't
estaba el
here.
teléfono aquel?
Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you. What do we want? What are we looking for?
Está bien, a ver si voy. Ahora, a tomar por culo. No voy a ver lo que me has preparado.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley
¿Se
came
podía por el
to a
otro
set
lado?
of two open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office.
No.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Pues no. ¡Tum!
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of two open... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. It was okay. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Está enfadado con el tema, ¿eh?
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look,
Hala.
Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time.
Es que lo que quería era caer en la barandilla y de cara abajo. Por si era... Por si al ser menos altura...
Every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself.
Venga, dígale a esa bruja que venga.
Let her back into your life.
¿Dónde está?
She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley. You.
Oh, no.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right.
Oh, no.
Okay, there we go.
Oh, no, hay un
All right,
señor.
now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you?
Luego que por qué me
I'm trying
suicidio.
to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
Vale, voy. A la mierda.
Sorry, but you're in my story now.
Con muertos. A ver. ¿Qué tengo en la nevera?
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
¿Por qué me quiere matar el gilipollas? Pulse 5 en su teclado.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him. and every button that he pushes
Ah,
is
que
a
me va a
reminder
tirar un
of the
sofá, no puedo pasar.
inconsequential nature of his existence.
2, 1, F, 8, 42, 3.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
Pero ¿por qué mi apartamento es de Madrid? Oh, ve, vamos a ver.
And so he
Ve
began
de
to
ver la tele.
fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
Oh. 0.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice.
Y me fui por la
It
derecha.
barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
No puedo preparar la cena porque soy británico. Hazme difícil hacer la comida, no entiendo. ¿Por qué la pizza no lleva guisantes?
As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations.
Oh, pues sí
Down
funcionaba.
one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
A ver.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
¿En media mar? ¿O de murder?
But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one.
Con mimir.
And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it. You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
Voy a empezar la partida otra vez. No cuestiono.
I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
Pero yo no he querido, yo no he elegido nada, ¿eh? Yo no quería morirme.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Awaiting input. significa waiting input? No ha cambiado nada.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Pues estoy sin ideas. Vamos a ver los logros que tiene este juego. How to jump. Tus logros. Logros. Cerrar y volver a entrar al juego. Esto es un logro. ¿Qué cojones de logros son estos? Normalmente uso los logros para saber si me falta algo del juego. Witati, en este logro, ¿cómo lo llevas tú? Pues nada. Sería gracioso, colarse en el ordenador de Wittation en su cuenta y hacerle clock y iniciar el juego. Estaría gracioso. Le habrá pasado a alguien, imagino. Ay. Pues nada. Pues no sé. Pues nada. Dadme ideas o pistas o lo que sea. No, el de la puerta, el de dar a 400 veces a la puerta no voy a hacerlo. De estar 8 horas ahí dándole a la puerta sin parar no voy a hacerlo. La habitación del Control Facility. Vale, gracias. ¿Cuál es?
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping he coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Y echar un cago. Ya estaría. Vámonos. ¿Está abierto ya?
Here's the door, just go.
¿Y esto? Ah. No, Vaya cockblock me ha hecho. Yo tiro para adelante,
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Ya estoy en Mind Control Facility. ¿Ahora qué?
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
¿Seguro? ¿Seguro? Sí, sí. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh. ¿Y ahora qué me tiro? ¡Tú! Oh. ¡Tú! En busca de que ocurra algo. No me está hablando mucho el narrador, ¿eh? ¿Y ahora qué? ¿Me estáis troleando?
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall.
Ya no sale lo del input.
When Stanley came to a set of two open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. It was okay.
Okay. ¿Qué ventana? ¿Qué ventana? ¿O te refieres después?
Yes, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that he, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to all of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Hay un muro. Hay un muro. ¡Oh! ¡Oh! ¡Libre!
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map, until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
Oh, no.
Ah, then in that case we'll continue. But now, here comes the real question. What do you think would have happened if you had told me that you wanted this to stop? Do you think it would have been particularly different? Would I have taken the same idea but rephrased it superficially to fit that answer? Perhaps you never would even have thought of it if I hadn't brought up the issue in the first place. Oh, now think about it. Will it be worth it for you to restart and then come back here just to do the other option? Clearly, this whole gag takes some time. What if the other option is even longer? How long will you spend in total just to have heard all the narration? Oh, and this is rich. Perhaps you've just played the other option, and now you've come to see what happens in this one. So, what do you think? Which choice was the better one? Imagine if you had selected Continue on your first playthrough, how tantalizing it would be not knowing what happens when you pick the other option. Indeed, you are one of the lucky ones. Though if the other option is really miserable to listen to, then perhaps you're not. In fact, I'm just going to say that no one who's listening to this is lucky. Well now, I've built up the other option so much that I'm going to stop talking and leave you to your decision whether to come back here, continue with the game, or just sit in this spot forever and ever. Cheers.
Sí. Sí. No. Ahora me lo ha deshabilitado.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
La puerta era 4:30 5 veces.
Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the achievement? Click a door 5 times. Is that all that you think an achievement is worth? No. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks. Now suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition. I have to say, I'm still not feeling the satisfaction of witnessing true effort for a noble cause.
¿Pero por qué esta puerta en concreto?
Perhaps 50 clicks will do it. Yes.
Ponía... Oh no, y ahora no me sale. Logros. Igual no lo he leído bien. Ah, vale, había leído... El 5 lo he ignorado por completo. Por eso he dicho yo, no voy a darle 430 veces a una puerta. Vale.
Almost certainly 50 clicks.
Ah, si solo son 5 clics, entonces sí.
No, I'm still not feeling it. I want this achievement to have meant something. It has to be a true reward for valiant effort. I want to see some hustle, Stanley. I want to see commitment, a willingness to go all the way, no matter what the cost. Why don't you go put 20 clicks into door number 417?
¿Cuál es el 4? 4:17. Pero si cruzo la puerta ya no puedo, ¿eh? ¿Ha hecho 4:17? Vale. Digo, va a cerrarme la puerta. 18.
Oh, great. Now, go click a few times on door 437.
¿Y esa cuál es? Más adelante. ¿O no? Creo que tampoco hay... Jódete. ¿Y dónde está?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Bueno, desde la derecha puedo llegar a todas.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. It was okay. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
4, 11, 12... esto va menos, ¿eh? Lo he saltado. Sé que está la puerta cerrada.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping...
Puta madre.
Wait, Stanley thought to himself. Am I sure that the orders stopped coming in? How is that possible? They never stopped. Surely I was mistaken. Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the achievement? Click a door 5 times. Is that all that you think an achievement is worth? No, 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 no. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks.
Ya se callará.
Now,
No tengo
suppose
problema.
you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition. I have to say, I'm still not feeling the satisfaction of witnessing true effort for a noble cause. Perhaps 50 clicks will do it. Yes, almost certainly 50 clicks. No, I'm still not feeling it. I want this achievement to have meant something. It has to be a true reward for valiant effort. I want
Ya
to
puede
see
ser bueno tu logro.
hustle, Stanley. I want to see commitment, a willingness to go all the way, no matter what the cost. Why don't you go put 20 clicks into door number 417?
Vale, pero no me cierres la puerta. Vale, que te veo. Creo que cuando atravieso eso.
Oh, great. Now, go click a few times on door 437. Excellent. I think we're getting somewhere. Now, door 415. Let's give it 10 clicks or so. Now, back to door number 437.
Te voy a matar.
Let's see. How about you click on, well, I don't know, the copy machine?
Que estaba... Que estaba en... Estaba en...
All right, back to room 417. I'm really feeling it now. I think we're getting somewhere. Okay, now go climb on employee 419's desk.
18... 19...
Yes! This is great. You're putting it all on the line, Stanley. I like that. All right, let's keep it up. Go give me a few clicks on door 416. We've almost got it. Now the copy machine, do that one again.
Se le está yendo el personaje. Ahora es el doctor de Maniac Mansion.
Finish it off, Stanley. 5 clicks on door 430.
That's why I'm down for $5.
Yes! We did it! Oh, wow. That felt amazing. Oh, you really earned it, Stanley. Nothing could hold you back. Yes, I'm very proud of how far we've come today. Just think, only a few minutes ago, you believed an achievement was worth 5 little clicks. Really now? What were you thinking?
Estaba pensando que sí, que me voy a tirar de un quinto. Vale, hasta luego. He atravesado muy fuerte, ¿eh? Ahora. Vale.
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map, until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
Sí.
Well, I don't know how to say this politely, but you could literally just hit escape and restart the game any old time you want, like right now. You could have done it just then. Now would also be an appropriate time to quit. Any of these points and so many, many more, all of them are appropriate. I'm enjoying what seems to be an internal conflict going on where you are literally unable to act on your own desires to restart the game. So, just to push the envelope, I'm going to try and make this as miserable as possible and see how long you can maintain. There once was a man named Stanley, who people considered so manly.
Ahora es cantante folk.
But the truth must be told, he was not very old and was quite particularly gangly. What Stanley liked most was buttons. He pushed them like some kind of glutton. He did it all day in a meaningful way, but his brain had long ceased to function. Which is why he is in this parable and lives an existence quite terrible. And if you are not strong and keep playing along, you too will become quite unbearable. Yes. You too will become quite unbearable.
¡Ole! Voy a volver a empezarla. Me parece que ya no va a cantar. Me parece que va a dejar la guitarra en bucle. Después del juego. Esto ha sido desde luego un juego, ¿eh? Esto ha sido un juego. Píllate la deluxe. A ver, pero ¿por qué? ¿Por qué tiene más finales? Tiene un DLC también, venga, hombre. En todo caso, a lo mejor habría sido mejor jugar la deluxe directamente. Pues claro, que tampoco iba a jugarlo sin. Además, el que tenemos este. Que tenemos es este. Vamos a jugar al otro. Summon Knight. Me suena. Swordcraft. ¿Algo? ¿No? ¿Era eso? ¿Vuelve? Bueno, pues no hay guitarra. Bueno, pues no sé, creo que hemos agotado los finales del conocimiento popular que tenemos por aquí. Creo que hemos exprimido el juego. System Shutdown. Creo que ya hemos exprimido de Stanley. Yo soy el Stanley Parable. Pero vamos a estar en un sitio en el que... Ay, yo soy este. ¿Hay uno más? ¿De qué? Es que... Yo no sé cómo se hace. Porque no he conseguido nada con eso. Y me he muerto. Y no estaba entendiendo nada. Y no parecía que estuviese avanzando en nada. Pero eso sale a veces. No me ha salido siempre. Ha habido una única vez que ha salido input. Y le he dado. Le ha dicho, vale, gracias. Y no ha vuelto a aparecer más. Pero yo he estado mirando los ordenadores un montón.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No
¿Está
matter
lloviendo?
how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers. Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
¡Oh! Input received. Vale, o sea que esto tengo que ir reiniciando y buscando en bucle. Con razón no avanzaba. Es que lo he encontrado muy tarde el input.
But Stanley simply couldn't.
Me ha podido la presión.
How wonderful. Stanley was alone. Finally. This is great, he thought to himself. This is what I've wanted all along. I got what I wanted. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Y si la oficina del jefe tampoco hay nada, ¿qué? Reinicio hasta que aparezca uno.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to
que
go
sigue en un
up to
orden
his
concreto.
boss's office. Hoping coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Nice.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers. Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference.
Bueno, a ver. ¡Estamos en el cielo! Hay muchos botones. Podemos tocar botones. ¡Es el cielo! ¡Oh! ¡Qué antiestrés! Que ya me he encerrado, Neku. 40 veces me he encerrado. Ah, se despresionan. Ah, bueno, yo pensaba que iba a presionar todo. Pues ahora definitivamente soy el Stanley Parable, que ha ascendido a los cielos y estoy en el cielo de los botones, donde puedes pulsar botones infinitamente todo el rato que te apetezca. Eso es lo mejor del mundo. Vale, no subas tan... Baja. Baja, cariño, baja. Que te está viendo arriba. Ahora sí, yo creo que sí, definitivamente. Esto ha sido un juego. Ha sido una experiencia, desde luego. No sé ni cómo definirlo. Ha sido una experiencia. Ha sido un juego. ¿Cuánto te ha costado esto? A ver, página de la tienda. Este juego ahora mismo cuesta 12 con The Beginner's Guide. ¿Qué cojones es esto? Hasta que nos llega. ¡Hala! ¡Se acabó de terminar! Me habéis pillado aquí en el cielo. ¿Eh? Ah, vale, no. Perdón, que esto es Steam. La versión Ultra Deluxe cuesta 22 euros. No lo voy a comprar, gente. Es similar a títulos a los que has jugado, como por ejemplo The Stanley Parable y Undertale. No voy a comprar el Deluxe. Además hay que comprar Disgaea 7. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo ha ido el directo? ¿Era más Pokémon? Es que justo acabo de llegar al cielo. iba a dar mi opinión de este juego y a cortar ya, no hay más que hacer. Hemos jugado a The Stanley Parable y he conseguido convertirme en el Stanley Parable. Ya que estamos en el cielo. Este es el cielo, hemos llegado al cielo. Ha sido un juego. Ha sido una cosa muy rara. Ha sido un viaje. O varios, depende de cómo se miren. Ha sido un tema. Villado, pues que ya. A ver, para una hora de directo no voy a quedarme. Ya para hacer nada en concreto. ¡Ah! Esto. Igual le hay un logro de quedarse aquí 8 horas mirando al cielo. Da pasa al Tíbet. Desintoxícate. No, que pierdo dinero. Claro, el martes entero. Lo que pasa es que hoy es viernes. No sé qué hacer el próximo viernes porque me ha desestabilizado los logaritmos, los horarios, el Disgaea 7. Entonces he pensado. Iba a venir XCOM. Lo que pasa es que hay un problema de horarios con el XCOM. Descansa. Te obligo a descansar. Así que podemos... Quedan... O sea, a ver... sale... mm, mm, mm. Vale, sería dentro de tres viernes. Dentro de 3 viernes, o sea que tenemos 2 viernes libres hasta que salga Disgaea 7. Así que vamos a colar otro juego de transición por medio. Dejad que mire antes de decidir. Antes de decir, sí, voy a hacer esto. Y liar la parda. Vamos a ver la lista de juegos que tenía aquí. Pero creo que todos los juegos que puse no son precisamente cortos. Quita el audio y... a ver... Y así lo dejo abierto para hacer raid dentro de un rato. Largo, 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 largo. Vale, no. Vale, el próximo viernes... No sé si va a durar un directo. Si dura un directo, pues entonces tengo otra cosa que a lo mejor también dura un directo. Si no, pues uno cada otro. Si no, pues un juego y ya está. Podemos hacer el próximo viernes, como el anterior juego de transición fue Simon the Sorcerer, podemos hacer que el próximo juego de transición del próximo viernes sea Simon the Sorcerer 2. Porque existe un 2. Hay una secuela. Y luego ya no hicieron más. Y luego ahí cerraron. No hubo más juegos. Nunca se volvió a oír hablar de Simon the Sorcerer. Si me dura un directo, que es lo que debería de durar, porque es lo que me duró el 1. Si solo dura un directo, entonces el último juego de transición antes de Disgaea 7 será Indiana Jones on the Fate of Atlantis. Dos aventuras gráficas del tirón. Aunque no sé yo si ese juego dura 4 horas o 5, pero bueno. ¿Por qué? Porque son dos aventuras gráficas que podemos concatenar con la aventura gráfica de la semana pasada, de Simon the Sorcerer. Fue la semana pasada, ¿no? No me acuerdo. No me acuerdo para nada. Y así, ya el viernes... El viernes 6, después de haber pagado Hacienda y todo, podríamos empezar Disgaea. Sale el 3, ¿vale? Pero que tampoco pasa nada por esperar 3 días. Jugaríamos el viernes a Disgaea. Porque... bueno, no sé. No creo yo que falta 1, 2, 3 directos enteros de Bravely Default, pero no va a colar. Y 2 directos enteros de Chrono Trigger. Ya veremos. De todas maneras, el XCOM lo colaré. Colaré el XCOM 2 por ahí. Lo que... Como sale Disgaea 7, tiene prioridad. Ya depende de cuánto nos dure el Chrono Trigger y cuánto nos dure lo que falta de Bravely Default. Bienvenidos al cielo de nuevo. Ya está. No hace falta alargar el directo 1 hora. A no ser que queráis preguntar cosas muy concretas. O muy concretas, como queráis. No puedo hacerte raid si estás viendo anime, cariño. No, no puedo hacer eso. Honkai Star Rail, no, tampoco. Vaya por Dios, no tengo a quien hacerle raid. Es que ¿para qué acabas antes que yo, Yukiko? Así no se puede, ¿eh? A ver, estaría bien que acabando XCOM 2 anunciasen un 3, ¿eh? Eso estaría guay. ¿Tenéis a quien hacerle raid? Nos hemos quedado sin nadie. Oh, se acaba de poner a alguien. Día de farmeo en Genshin Impact. Ah, qué bien. Ah, va a ser que no. ¿Queréis, por favor, dejar de jugar a los juegos del miollo este? Por favor, que quiero hacer raid a gente. Y todo con los juegos de miollo. No hago raids a gente de miollo, de juegos de miollo. Starfield, The Cosmic Will Sisterhood Pokémon DVD. ¿Y esa gente quién es? Claro, me dice juegos, no sé. Dime personas, lo miramos. Queda muy raro, ¿eh? Con el cielo este de fondo. Aunque es verdad que necesito un hueco para el extensible del September. Que aún no he decidido qué hacer, pero es que luego en el anterior extensible hice planes y no cumplí literalmente nada. Vamos a cotillear. Tengo que pensar qué hacer. Porque podría hacer un doblaje de esto, pero no sé yo.
Interesante. Vale.
¿Qué es este juego?
¿Una fuerza de la máquina?
¿De qué va?
Me parece inteligente por tu parte. Fortuna. ¿Podemos hacer agua con agua con agua con agua con agua?
Ah, mira, le gusta el agua. No tengo ni idea de qué está haciendo, pero está mezclando agua con agua. Digo yo que eso hará. Eso va a hacer algo. Pasamos aquí a la pantalla de Raid. Os voy a mandar para allá. Está jugando, el juego se llama The Cosmic Will Sisterhood. No estoy entendiendo nada del juego. Pero para ello os voy a mandar. Para el resto tenéis ahí mi Discord en mi Twitter. Si queréis ver cosas de Digimon, vais a Twitter. Si queréis ver otras cosas, venís a Discord. Mañana me voy a poner a doblar lo que me queda del encargo. Tengo al personaje que me falta por de esto, lo tengo ya casi. Tengo que verme algunos capitulitos más. Para terminar de hacerme el personaje y decir, vale, ahora ya está, ahora lo puedo doblar. Me falta ya poquito, porque he tenido dos capitulitos centrados en él. Y ya dentro de poco podré doblarlo, podré terminar todos los encargos y volveré a quedar libre hasta que me vuelvan a tirar dinero con los encargos. Aún así, estad atentos a Twitter porque a lo mejor mañana pillo un speedrun y saco el encargo. Con el siguiente mod que son 4 Digimon. Doblaje de 4 Digimon nuevos. Hala, pasadlo muy bien. Buenas noches. Y nos vemos pasado mañana con Bravely Default. Tenéis abajo los horarios y esas cosas. Y el miércoles de Chrono Trigger. Pasadlo bien. Buenas noches.